Guys, working on the vet today. We're gonna work on swapping out the steering wheel for a carbon fiber one, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, disconnect the battery first. I left mine overnight. I mean, you don't have to. Maybe a couple hours is fine, just to make sure that this guy right here, the airbag, doesn't have any charge. Take a pin, or I mean, anything that's long and skinny that fits inside this little pinhole on the side. There's two. There's one here, and there's one on the driver's side. Well, driver and passenger side. So pretty much you just stick that in, push, and you'll feel like a little button click in, and then just wiggle the steering wheel free. You can do one side at a time. You can do both at the same time, whatever is easier for you. Pop this guy out. I use a small flathead. You got these two airbag connectors, so they have these little clip pins. Let's see if I can zoom in. So pretty much all I did was stick the flathead in this, wedged in this little area, and popped up. Let's see if I can focus. Popped up, and then now I can literally just stick this behind and pop out that connector or pull it out. Done. Easier with two hands than one. All right, so now time to disconnect this little plug wire right here. It's literally just a little clip, push in, pop out. And then this is a T50 Torx, and you can pop out the steering wheel. And for reference, the clip is on the side. It's right here. You push down. I skipped a step. Forgot that you have to take this off first. You can just pull this off with your hand. You don't need any tools for that. Literally hold on the top, push towards you, and the whole thing will just pop off. And then you got two sensors, one right here, or two clips, not two sensors, two clips, and one right here, one on each side. They have side push tabs, and they pop right off. And then you can use the Torx T50 and remove the wheel. But always make sure that your steering wheel is pretty much straight before you do this, because you don't want to have to realign your car. Here's a better view of those clips. So literally right here, push in, pop out. Push in, pop out. And here's the orientation. So you would push in right here, where this little opening is in front of it. Push in, pop towards the center. That's it. All right. This clip right here also has to come out. Literally just push in and pop out. Easier to do with two hands than one because of how skinny this is. But you can use like a flathead or something if you don't want to do it by hand. But it's easy enough. Well, guys, you know what time it is. Now, very, very important. I mean, mine was already marked, right? So this is how far I have to torque the bolt. Like if I pull this bolt, when I tighten it, I know I just have to line up those two marks, right? Now with the steering wheel has this little arrow on the bottom, and you see this little notch in the steering column. You have to make sure that those align with the new wheel, all right? And then when you pull this off, come on, it should just come off. There we go. The airbag sensor tabs just slide in through the back, and like that, wheel is off. And then just keep in mind this rotates. This doesn't matter. I mean, you want to keep it aligned, so I want to always keep the sensor section on the top, right? You know, when you put the new wheel back on, just keep that in mind. All right, that's full. Yes, I have a mess in here, so I'm gonna have to do this on top of the Camaro's hood. Don't worry, old buddy, you'll be back up and running. But yeah, so here's the differences, right? Here's your stock steering wheel. Ignore this. These are like little grips. Let's see if I can remove it with my hand. I'm gonna need both hands for that. They're stuck on there. But these are little grips that I bought for this. Here is the new CF wheel. It's a big difference. That is a very huge difference. So now I have to take pretty much everything that's on the old wheel, right? My shifters, the buttons, everything, and I need to transfer it over to this guy right here. So we're gonna do that next. Just a quick side note. So when I pulled this off, right, there was a little clip, right, little clip zip tie holding this in place in this corner. Now, if you look at most do-it-yourself guys on YouTube, they tell you to cut that while this harness is still in there. There's an easier way. If you turn this around, right, you take a pin, pop it in here and hammer it through, right, you can pop that clip out and then you can cut it with better visibility. So you don't risk cutting any one of these cutting any one of these wires here. And you don't want to do that because, again, these wires go to like your cruise control, your volume, all that great stuff, right, for all your buttons. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. So for like these buttons here, you have little torque spits. Same here, different sizes. I'm gonna check in a second and tell you exactly what sizes those are. Give me a sec. All right, so these top ones right here that go to your red mesh shifters, these are T25s, and these smaller ones are T20s, so torque spits. All right, guys, right here, torque spits. T25, T20s. All right, 20s, 25s, 20s, 25s, 25s, 20s. Got it. So these guys, literally one T25. That's it. That's all that holds it in place. So it should be easy, an easy swap. Hey guys, this should go without saying, but when you transfer these buttons over, especially with the paddles, make sure you only hand tighten these. Yeah, sure, you can use like a driver, right, to remove the bolts, but when you reinstall it, do it by hand. This only needs to be hand tight. If you over tighten this, functionality won't be smooth. So if you over tighten it, this will get stuck. But yeah, once you guys are done, just test all your buttons, make sure that functionality is smooth or as expected before you move on to the harness and putting it back into the car. So just an FYI. Alright guys, starting to look good. I guess I should mention, so I know at the start of the video I talked about this little mark I made. It doesn't matter for the new wheel because you don't have the new wheel marked. It also depends on how you place this this bolt in here. So mine, before I even pulled it up, was already a little stripped. But I'm not replacing this wheel anytime soon. And I can always replace that bolt later on. I still have a bit that catches on there, and then I have the extraction tool, so I don't really care. But as you can see here, the mark, instead of being to the right like it was on the old wheel, is further down. That's fine. I used the impact, I passed it, it's stuck on there. This wheel is not going anywhere. So that does look a lot better.